All right, let's talk about something fundamental. It's a question that sounds simple on the surface, but wow, the answer can change pretty much everything. It's all about how you see yourself and whether that picture in your head is, well, reality or just a really convincing story you've been telling yourself. Let's get into it. So, let me just ask you, straight up, do you truly know yourself? Or are you maybe just really familiar with the story you tell yourself about who you are? And look, this isn't just some late night philosophical question. This gets to the heart of a huge difference between two key ideas: self awareness and self perception. We're going to break them both down. Okay, so first up, self awareness. The best way to wrap your head around this: picture looking into a perfectly clean, totally clear mirror, but for your own mind. It's that honest internal look at what's really there. No filters, no judgment, just the facts. So, what is it really? At its core, self awareness is just that ability to see and understand your own inner world. Seeing your emotions, your thoughts, your values for exactly what they are. And, this is key, noticing how all that stuff drives what you actually do. You could almost think of it like you're a scientist just collecting the raw, unfiltered data about yourself. Okay, but what does that actually look like in real life? Well, a self-aware person doesn't just feel, nervous. They can actually pinpoint the feeling. Okay, I'm feeling anxious right now, and then they can connect it to a deeper reason, like, and I know it's because I'm afraid of being judged. See that? That's a direct recognition of what's happening inside. It's not a story, it's a straight up observation. All right, now let's flip the coin and look at its counterpart, self-perception. If self-awareness is that clean mirror, then self-perception, well, that's the story you write after you take a quick glance. Or, let's be honest, sometimes without even looking in the mirror at all. It's the whole narrative, the identity you've built up about who you are. So, yeah, self-perception is basically your mental image of you. It's all built on the beliefs and the judgments you've formed about who you think you are. And here is the really important part. That self-image, it might not line up with reality at all. It's an interpretation, right? Not a direct factual observation. Let's go back to that public speaking example. With self-perception, it's not about the feeling of anxiety. No, it's about the identity that gets built from that feeling. It's the thought, I'm just not a good public speaker. That's a judgment, right? It's a label you've slapped on yourself. And the crazy thing is, someone could totally believe that about themselves, even while audiences think they're amazing and super engaging. You see the gap there? And that, right there, that brings us to the absolute core of all this. The main difference really just boils down to something super simple. It's the gap between knowing yourself and just thinking you know yourself. Okay, let's lay this out side by side so it's crystal clear. Self-awareness, that's all about looking inward. It's an objective recognition of what is. But self-perception, that's your subjective spin, your interpretation of all that stuff. And if you want a really simple rule to remember, here it is. Self-awareness is what you truly know about yourself. Self-perception is what you think about yourself. It's that simple. One is the raw data, the other is the story we write based on it. All right, so who cares? Why does splitting these two ideas even matter? Well, it matters a lot. Because understanding this difference is like the absolute first step toward any kind of real, genuine personal growth. It's how we stop being stuck in a story we wrote years ago and start actively shaping our own reality. Think about it. The moment you can separate what you actually feel from the story you've been telling yourself about that feeling, everything can change. You start building some serious emotional intelligence. You suddenly have the power to challenge those limiting beliefs, that I'm not a good speaker stuff, and actually test if they're even true. And what that does, ultimately, is it lets you line up your actions with who you really are, with your true values. Instead of just living up to a flawed self-image, you stop living by the script and you start living your actual life. So I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Take a second right now and think about one of your core beliefs about yourself, something you just know is true. Now ask yourself, is that belief based on real, objective self-awareness? Or is it a perception, a story you've just gotten really, really used to telling yourself? Honestly, figuring out the difference between those two, that might just be the most important work you ever do.